Hi, guys. This is Dr. Steven Seiler. Uh, I am sitting in my office at home looking out the window in Norway. It's a early spring day. Uh, a few flowers are starting to bloom, but it's quiet. And like many of you, I'm in quarantine, uh, both because I traveled internationally within the last 14 days, but also because the Norwegian government has essentially put us all in a kind of a voluntary quarantine situation. Um, so we're all going a bit stir crazy. This is my ninth day uh, in quarantine, so hopefully I'm symptom free. I was in the Netherlands with my daughter. She ran a half marathon on the 8th of March, and we both came home, and probably that was the last major road race in running that we will see internationally for a while. And I guess for all of us, one of the questions we have to ask in terms of endurance training is, well, how long is a while? We don't know. But we can at least assume, I think right now, that 3 months is a at least good first estimate for the interruption that we're going to see in all kinds of national and international sporting events. So that's 12 weeks that we basically have to lift out of that periodization plan, that season plan that we've had, that you've all created with highlights. For some of you, the highlights are a local 10K. For others, the highlight is a grand tour in like the Tour de France in July, or the spring classics that are now postponed. So, but we've all got our big events that just aren't going to happen as planned. So 12 weeks physiologically, of course, I would think of that as either 2 6-week training blocks, or possibly 3 4-week training blocks. And we don't want to peak during this time. There's no point in doing some of the kinds of sessions that we would do towards a peak. There's no point in doing anaerobic capacity sessions, for example, really. There's not a whole lot of point in doing really tough VO2 max interval sessions. Now, don't get me wrong, we still need to do some intensity, but for example, I did a ride the other day with Mitchelton Scott, 5 times 3 minutes with hard starts, and it was a great workout, but I probably would call that a peaking session. And they would have been using it to peak for some Belgian classics, so it makes sense. Now, they had ridden 4 hours prior to doing that session, and I had only sat on my butt. But the point is that some of these sessions that have a big anaerobic component where you're really pushing, that's fresh fruit. They stimulate some soft adaptations, we call them, that just protein synthesis. That's it's not hardware, it's almost software, and it happens quickly, meaning it doesn't take very many sessions to achieve the adaptation, but it also fades pretty fast. So it's a lot of stress on the body, and it's fresh fruit. So those kinds of sessions, I think I would cut back on in this 3-month period. Now, the other thing you need to think about is, well, how long do I need to kind of get into peak shape? If I maintain a good base, if I keep doing the basic training, I keep doing some intensity, what is my time to race ready? For some people, it is 8 weeks. Some it's 6. Some can do 4 weeks and be race ready. So having a feel for your race ready or time to race ready from a good baseline, that's a pretty useful thing to think about and plan from. In the case of my daughter, for example, we found that she she went from being kind of frustrated that her high intensity sessions weren't going very fast to being in peak form and personal best condition in about 4 to 5 weeks. She did 9 specific sessions, and the effect was just crazy positive. But she did that on the top of a really good foundation. So this is the kind of things we can think about. Is let's do some work in those 4 week or 6 week blocks that keeps the machine going, keeps you in good form. Maybe if you're a age grouper like me or like my daughter, we're backing up a few steps and saying, well, I need to work on certain weaknesses. In the case of my daughter, we're going to put in a block of strength and power with some specific speed workouts because she needs to improve her speed. So, okay, we're kind of in limbo here, so let's add a basic preparations period. And then when race schedule is back on track, then we're going to count back a certain number of weeks and add in the specific workouts, and away we go. So that's kind of our process is back it up, ease off on the specific sessions for at race pace, try to find areas where we can do some work to better the basic machinery. And everyone's different in terms of what that might be. In the case of my daughter, she handles volume and all that pretty well, but she needs speed. Okay, so we're going to adjust in that direction and use the time to work on that. Now, one thing I was thinking about, a lot of you guys are Zwifters, guys being a gender neutral term right now. And we're going stir crazy. I have done 2 races myself in the last 2 days. I did it as an experiment. Now, the one race was planned, and then I thought, well, I'm going to just do another race tomorrow. I'm going to load up. Basically, Zwift races are 1 hour typically, and both of these were just around. One was 61 minutes, the other was 53. And I just want to see how my body responded. I had a great first race in terms of my own physical response. Second one, I wanted to compare. So, hey, let's experiment a little bit. That's fine. Now, if you are a high performance cyclist, you don't get to race on Zwift because your power per kg is too dang high. So if you're Mitchelton Scott, these guys, or Sunweb, or any of these guys, lots of you are on Zwift right now and you're kind of closed out of racing. Hey, all you got to do is just change your body weight. Just give yourself a weight handicap that puts you smack dab in the middle of either the A group or the B group, or heck, you can go down to C and do a race with them. You may have to weigh 100 kilos on Zwift to be able to be in that FTP area, but why not? Then you can do that hour race, get a great workout, have some fun with us mere mortals, and maybe let Zwift be a little bit more fun. And I think all of you who are in that upper spectrum of cycling, that's one option you have, is you can adjust your body weight up for very specific events or workouts so that you can be part of the action. Power is power, so you're still getting your work, but it allows you to be part of the action without getting disqualified or making people upset, because you know how the Zwift ecosystem can be. Anyway, so that's one idea, and I think it'd be a lot of fun. Right now, we need to have some fun, and we need to, of course, stick to our basic training plans and easy sessions and hard sessions, and have the intensity discipline. But I know, I feel it too. It's tough, and we're out of our usual situation. We're not interacting with people as much, so use that virtual world for what it's worth, and let's hang in there. Thanks.